All right, guys, what's up? It's Jack, and welcome back to the arcade. And you know what? When I was 8 years old, one of the first games that I fell in love with was for the Game Boy handheld, also known as the Brick. And the game itself was Metroid 2. It was not an easy game, and I felt lost playing the game, but I absolutely enjoyed it because of the type of gameplay that it offered. And that's one of the things that kept me coming back. It was one of the first games that I absolutely fell in love with. Back then, it was Tetris and Metroid 2 for a long time before I would get other games, right? But Metroid 2 for me was the standout for me personally, right? And fast forward all of these years later, as of a couple of years ago, a fellow content creator recommended a little game called Hollow Knight to me. And I was like, okay, I took his word for it, installed it, and started playing it. And number one, I actually appreciated like the classic type of gameplay. But as I went further and further, I quickly started to notice that this game is so much more in depth than I expected it to be. And on top of that, it also made me feel just like Metroid 2 did when I was 8 years old back then. And that is that I felt lost, but I felt lost in a good way because I had to choose. I had to look at the map many times and I had to choose. It's like, okay, do I want to go left? Do I want to go right? Do I want to go up? Do I want to go down? Am I even able to go this way? Do I even have all of the abilities on right now? Have I found the next ability or unlocked the next ability in order for me to go there? You know what I mean? So, like, one of the things that I absolutely fell in love with the game, it was literally, it had like so many aspects of, like, let's say a more modern game in terms of what it's capable of being in terms of exploration, and to a certain extent even kind of an open worldness type of way in its own unique way. Dark parts of the map that you would unlock by simply going there, right? Because you don't know what's there and you want to explore. Like when you're talking about unlocking abilities, finding secrets, explorations, your gameplay that is also very basic, but at the same time could also be pretty damn challenging. And then on top of that, you got bosses, different enemies and stuff like that. You're upgrading your character and stuff like that. It is a very, very good example of what a video game should be. And I appreciated that game quite a bit. I was genuinely surprised of just how in-depth it was, and in some cases challenging, and yet at the same time it was so charming. Like the game itself was so charming. Of course it had some uniqueness and goofiness to it and stuff like that if you look at it a little bit, but it was amazing, right? So fast forward to today, Silksong just came out, and you're seeing excuse me, numbers on Steam that are like up the wazoo, that is, competing with multiplayer shooters and surpassing multiplayer shooters. you know um you've got a game that's a $20 price tag, right? And on top of that, you got like these, I guess, these pirate websites or whatever that are basically posting that they're trying to convince people that are trying to pirate the game that, hey, this game is so damn good, and on top of that, it's just $20. Like, you're just buy the game. And on top of that, you got fans that are also like trying to donate to Team Cherry to give them more money because they're getting so much more for their money's worth than just the $20. Like, because they did it right, because they did such a great job. And on top of that, it was not too long ago, and I just found out about this. It wasn't too long ago, right, to where they announced the release date, right? They wanted to basically make sure that the game was going to be finished when it was going to be finished. And whenever it was going to be finished was when they were going to announce a release date, as opposed to, oh, we're definitely going to release here, and no matter what, the devs have to make that deadline or whatnot, right? I mean, devs always have to make deadlines. It's just the way it works. But at the same time, it's like, in this day and age, in the year 2025, I think it's safe to say that we're getting a lot of games released that, could have used a little bit more time in the oven. I think we could all pretty much agree on that. I mean, granted, it doesn't happen to every game, but it's a significant amount of games, especially when you compare it to how games were, like, let's say, maybe like, let's say 10 years ago, to where games were definitely getting released a hell of a lot more finished more consistently than they are today. So it's like, you see this company that's basically like, yeah, we're going to announce it when it's ready. So that, for me, in so many different ways, just screams respect. And on top of that, even if you go to How Long to Beat, which is basically a website to where it'll give you an average length in terms of how long it takes to beat a game, but not just to beat a game, but to also complete it. Like the original is said to have over 60 to 70 hours in order to complete. And that's just a law of averages right there. So for someone like me who usually takes longer to complete a game, and what I mean by complete a game is everything like to 100% a game, right? To find all the nooks and crannies, all the secrets, all the abilities, blah, blah, blah. You know, not just to beat it, to go from beginning to end, but like to literally do everything that the game has to offer. Like that usually takes me longer than your average player, despite the fact that I've been playing video games as long as I have. I've always been like that. And on top of that, I really just love to take my time when it comes to games like that, right? I don't rush the experience at all. I try to kind of like, you know, marinate myself in the experience, because that's how it's meant to be, right? You go at your own pace, and that's the beauty of it when it comes to certain games, especially one like this, in my opinion. So this game absolutely, in my opinion, is a Cinderella story in the year 2025, and it really touched my soul, which is the primary reason why I wanted to make a video about it. Because when you're talking about a developer that like does things the right way, a price tag that definitely gives you more than enough bang for your buck, you know, that could be affordable for everybody, right? And on top of that, it's a game that can, you know, charm you, keep you busy, challenge you, encourage you to explore, you know, reward you for the exploration and everything like that. And you got your classic gameplay mixed with modern times with like depth to it. It's how can you not tip your hat to a game like this, right? And to developers for developing it the way they did. A Metroidvania in the year 2025, man, did this, you know, and you're talking like there's a reason why games like Metroid Dread are praised, right? There's a very big reason for that. You know, Metroid Dread, if you think about it, for the Nintendo Switch, was basically like Super Metroid in modern times, right? So, and I remember even watching some of my fellow, you know, my favorite content creators play that game, and I was just like, I was almost tempted to go and get a Switch. You know, this was like, I think over a year and a half ago, when I was watching, maybe even 2 years ago or so, when I was watching one of my favorite content creators stream it. And I was almost tempted to run to Walmart or GameStop or whatever, buy a Switch and Metroid Dread. You know, I mean, granted, I know that the experience would have been great, but then I was also hearing about Switch 2, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just wait, or whatever the deal was. But regardless, you know, the theory is sound. Like, I was tempted by watching, you know, gameplay of Metroid Dread by one of my favorite content creators or streamers. You know, it tempted me to be like, I'm kind of tempted to go to Walmart or to go to GameStop, you know? So again, games, you know, just because you've got your classic games out there, it doesn't mean that that there's no place for them, because clearly in the year 2025, when done correctly, and when you truly, you know, do things the right way, you know, take the feedback from the community and apply it to your new game and release it to the point to where everybody and their mother is praising it, despite the fact that it's only been out for a day or whatever. Like, I mean, this is the stuff. This is a good example of what gaming needs to be like, you know? So, and in a world to where everybody's trying to charge $80 to $100 for their games, Grand Theft Auto is probably going to be 100, if not more, or whatnot. I mean, granted, people are also willing to pay for that because they know that they're going to be kept busy for a long time. And to my knowledge, Rockstar hasn't really let anybody down yet. You know what I mean? Rockstar continues to deliver. So with that being said, I want to end this this commentary here. Are you willing to pay, let's say, $100 or $120 for a standard edition of GTA 6? And let's not forget that there's also the online as well, Grand Theft Auto Online. You know, just an interesting question to end the video. So with that being said, guys, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. A tip of the hat to the developers, tip of the hat to the game. So great to see in the year 2025. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.